Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. I'm going to break down how I created a day trading system that fit me, but let's break down the story before I get into it. When I first started trading, how I got into it, just a young guy trying to figure out trading. You see all these YouTube guys making bank, saying how easy it is if you just follow their strategy. So I figured, why not just give it a shot? So I delved deep into the world of penny stocks. Yes, penny stocks initially. Thankfully, I paper traded first, did this for a little on and off, and then I started taking it a bit more serious. And on paper, I was making a lot of money, so I thought, why not take it live? And when I took it live, I had a very rude awakening. First trade took a pretty big loss, which I'm thankful for because it taught me risk management and kept me in the game long enough. So eventually, once I was done doing that, I went back to paper, went back to live, was risking very little money, honestly. And it just always kept me alive till I learned more and more and more. And honestly, trading, you get knocked backwards, take two steps forward, take a step back, and it's just over and over and over and over again. So, how did I overcome these obstacles? I created a system, and that's why I'm making this video. I want to help you guys create your own trading system. So it's just based on my personal experience. I'm not a financial advisor. It's for educational purposes only, and there's risk in trading. So let's get right into it, guys. So my five key components on creating a day trading system or just a trading system in general. I'm gonna break this down into five parts, five key areas you have to focus on. Area number one, this is what I would do first. Test multiple trading methods so you can figure out what you like. Number two, when you're doing this, obviously I would be doing it on paper. Journal and keep track of your stats, whatever that may be. When I journaled, it really helped me a lot. I'll break that down later in the video. Number three, find out what you do well. You're only going to be able to really do this, obviously, if you're keeping track in your mind. But two, if you're journaling and keeping your stats, you're going to know for sure, yes, I trade best in the morning. Yes, I trade best in the afternoon. I trade this setup the best. That'll really help you out. Number four, create rules to follow once you learn what you do and don't do well. You're going to eventually learn there's some things that can really hinder you. I'll break down what really drove me back later on in this video. And number five, plain and simple. Once you do those four steps, in my opinion, you just execute. Obviously, I would always do it on paper first till you know for sure you can be profitable or that strategy is profitable. So, breaking down. Before we get into that, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. That really helps the channel. Thank you, guys. So, the first thing is trying every strategy under the sun. This is where you're going to be learning. This is part one. This is where you're going to be learning on what works and what doesn't work. So you're trying every single strategy. This is when you're going to be testing really everything. See what works for you. Do stocks work? Are you trading multiple stocks, or maybe you only trade a basket, or maybe you only trade one? I only trade one stock. I only really trade SPY. Every now and then I'll trade other things. I only trade SPY options. Next thing right here, as you guys can see right here, options. This is what I found worked best for me. SPY options, just absolutely love them. Penny stocks, some people with penny stocks, it didn't sit well with me. Obviously, some people trade them, they short them. For me, wasn't the greatest. I think it was just too risky for me, in my opinion. I just never. I think when I first started trading, there was this stock called, geez, I forgot what it was called. I wish I remember. It was like the Starbucks for China, and this thing got halted for months on end. And I remember it dropped from like $20 to $2, and then went from $2 to like $10 in one day. Got halted. Everyone's money was just locked in it for like months, and I was like, yeah, that will never happen to me. So another thing, swing trading. If you don't like day trading, maybe swing trading is for you. I swing trade a bit, honestly. It's pretty much the same exact concepts as day trading, just on a longer time frame, on a bigger time frame. But maybe you don't have the time to day trade. Maybe you can't watch the charts all the time. Swing trading, you create a plan when the market isn't open, and then you could just put some orders out when it hits that level, and it could kind of just, you could trade automated in a sense. You don't have to actually be at the screens all the time. So part number two, take notes, keeping your stats, journaling, screenshots. So as you guys can see, I'm saying journaling, stats, screenshots. So always write down what you saw and how you felt in the trades that you take. When you're journaling, it really helps back for you to look back on what you thought when it was happening in the moment. You could learn to really take advantage of those feelings. Hey, when I felt this way, I completely blew up. When I felt this way, it was normally a pretty good trade. Journaling definitely does help, but when you're journaling, you're keeping stats. So what I mean by keeping stats is every trade you take, mark it. Say I took it at 9 o'clock, I took it at 10 o'clock. That trade netted me 2R. If you're risking, let's say, $100, you made $200. However you want to keep track of it. Or that trade was a loser. Um, it was this setup. Just I would keep track. Oh, the if you're saying volume or however you want it was off this candle. It was at this time. That's just how I'm keeping stats. You guys will kind of learn how you want to keep your own stats. Next to that, I would take a screenshot of the exact trade, the entry, the exit, the profit target, the stop, time of day, everything. Obviously, I would take a picture of it on the time frame you took it on, and then maybe your the daily chart or the hourly chart, a bigger time frame chart right next to it. That's kind of what I do. That really helps me learn this trade worked because of this reason, in my opinion. So after that, part number three, I would break down what's working for you. So you go back, look at your stats, and this is when you would decide, hey, this really works for me. This exact setup during these hours of the day, I always trade good. Hey, once I take more than one trade, I start falling apart. You start to learn what works for you, what doesn't. Maybe is it stocks? Is it options? Is it penny stocks? Is it swing trading? Is it just discretion? You start to learn what really works for you, and that's when you could take advantage and start doing really well because you could back test it and see, oh hey, I've been trading for 6 months on paper. I tried everything. I really like this strategy. It just clicks with me for some reason. I kept my stats when I traded it for a few months straight. And hey, I love this setup at this time. It works really well. I like doing 2 to 1 or risking 5 points to make 10 points. You've heard me say that a lot on futures. Just however it may be, you figure out what's working. Once you figure out what's working, you're on to the next step, which is creating your trading rules. Once you figure out what is working for you, you have to create rules to follow that system that you created off of that setup, off of that time frame, whatever it may be. You could say, "Hey, based on my research, based on my findings of keeping track of my stats for a whole year on paper, I learned that when I take a trade on the 15 minute or when I take a trade on the 5 minute, yeah, I'm a lot better than when I take a trade on the 1 minute. For me, what did I learn? I like taking trades on a 5 minute, an hourly, or 15 more than I like taking trades on a 1 minute. What else did I learn? This is just my personal experience here, guys. Another thing I learned is I really can only take one trade. If my first trade is a loser, from there it's downhill. I normally will not. My second trade's not going to be a winner. My third trade's not going to be a winner. If my first trade's a winner, yes, I could normally keep trading. I normally just cut it off though. So I learned, hey, just stick to one trade, call it a day. If I take more than one trade, it's kind of a downward spiral and just ends pretty badly in my eyes. So live by these rules, or else your account will end up like the graphic on the left, as you guys can see, just a straight downward spiral. So the last step, the final step, simple as it may sound, is just execute that plan that you created. Follow that plan, paper trade it for a bit, see if it's profitable, follow it, don't tweak it. The biggest downfall of me is I won't want to be perfect. You're always chasing perfection, and I would have a really good setup, have a really good plan. I would take one loss and then I would throw the plan away because I want to win. I want to pretty much win every single trade I am in. And it's impossible to do that, guys. Honestly, you're not going to win every single trade. You're probably going to be more around the 50% around that area. That's where most people are. I mean, some people can win a lot. It just depends on, obviously, too, what your risk to reward is. If you're going for some big trades, you're going to be losing a lot more. But if you when you win, obviously it pays you back more. So that's also another thing you have to decide. Are you going to go for big wins? Me, I just go simple 2 to 1. Gives me a little bit of winning. I don't lose too much. Keeps me happy, and that's what I've really found that works for me. But once you reach this final step, just execute what you've created. If it was working on paper, you back tested it, you kept your stats, you worked for months on end, then it's most likely going to work once you start taking it to the live account, unless you start obviously letting your emotions control you, which could be a strong possibility. That's why this video, educational purposes only, guys. There is risk in trading. It is extremely, extremely, extremely hard. And your emotions, honestly, later on, once you start trading for longer, you realize your emotions just absolutely ruin you. But that's just kind of what I have, guys. Um, if you guys like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment, share it with someone. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I'm out.